Alright guys, we're out here doing Audi stuff. I got the head strap for the GoPro, and I know what you're wondering is, do I feel as stupid as I look when I have it on? The answer is yes, but you probably didn't hear any of that because of that windstorm that just blew in for no reason. Let's take this fuel pump out. This channel's slowly just turning into a Chris Fix knockoff, but yeah, I don't know how much of this you can actually see. I'll do my best. This big plastic ring out of here. Get this bad boy out. Okay, so it's in a different spot than the front wheel drive one, which is bizarre, but drove the muscle car over. Open this so we have a little bit of light. We'll come over here. So here's the Audi specialty tool. You have to take this out. I pushed down pretty hard. I already figured out how to use this thing on the parts car. There it goes, before I took it to the Quattro car so I could get all my swearing done off camera. Just breaking it, so I don't want to go too hard, but ended up having to get in there pretty aggressively. But there you go. That's the old Audi fuel pump basket. So someone's been in here before because it didn't have the single-use clamps up here anymore. So evidently someone's already changed this fuel pump. You can tell right here too, because there's usually one of these. Oh, they took it off both ends. That's a smart move. So I think I broke this one taking it off, but it's out. Oh well, the filter's in there still, but
I'm not broken though, is it?
I'm not going digging for that. I dropped my snap-on ratchet in the other one. If it was any other ratchet, I would have left it, but it was the snap-on one, so I was like, all right, we're going elbow deep in that gas tank. Old one, this is the new one. Everything looks way whiter and nicer. So it's really checking out that that kid did the fuel pump on the parts car right before I got it. It's also got a full tank of gas, so I think I might buy a cheap fuel pump and make myself a siphoning device. Now that those people have given me a weird look for having a GoPro strapped to my head, let's get this bitch back together. All the signs pointed to it. The only thing I couldn't do is test the wiring because the multimeter didn't want to work. So, but fuse was good, relay was clicking. So unless there's a dead wire, and here's the thing, when I got this car, you had to prime it twice if it sat overnight or for a few hours to get it to fire. I knew the fuel pump was dying, but I also wanted to see how far it'll go on a tank of gas. So imagine my surprise when I run an already dying fuel pump low on gas and it stopped working. Cue the shocked Pikachu face. Shouldn't it all be surprised, huh? I'm stupid. Sorry. Parts car very easily, so we're just gonna use some convincing tools. This is probably, I'm sure, how they do it at the dealership. Funky about the one that came out. There we go. Not all of it came out. I was like, why the hell is this new one not going in? I know it's the same part number. I cross-referenced that on like 5 different websites because I was worried about it. So I was like, that would be my luck to have the exact same car, but they changed the fuel pump over the course of one model year. As to why I struggle with the Volvo fuel pump so much. And it's, wait, I'm gonna check to see if I actually put the wires back in right or not, but every time, I didn't plug that in, it's a good thing I pulled that out. Every time I put this rubber thing on here first, and I just ran into the same issue. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to get that plastic ring on, but my dumb ass just put this in first, and now it just pops in. I'm stupid, but also a genius. It looks like it bent just from putting it through the opening. Like, that's not the right shape anymore. So, considering I paid 70 bucks for that, I'm gonna go ahead and get my money back. I had to put it back in by hand. I couldn't even use the tool because it wouldn't line up all those castle nut things. I was gonna hang on to it if it functioned, but since it's garbage, we're gonna send it back. This first. let's plug her in, give the key a turn. So reading on AudiZine, I saw a couple people having issues with their cars not priming, and someone said, hey, have you ever messed with the ignition switch or have a turbo timer? And I was like, oh yes, I do have a turbo timer. Some people's pumps just don't prime, but because it's a single pump system, if it doesn't prime, it'll still start eventually. It just has to suck up enough fuel, which is kind of how mine was behaving. So my new theory is that the pump never primed and it was just too far down in gas, and now it's gonna start. It's actually my best case scenario at this point, so let's see. Wait. I just heard it prime. What the hell do you want, Audi? What the fuck? Something's wonky here, guys. Does it just not prime if there's no gas in it? Oh yeah, it used to make that noise too. I don't know if you can hear that. Something seems wrong about that, but well, guess we got a new fuel pump. I'm assuming that means this one still works, which means I'm gonna use it to siphon all the gas out of the parts car. All right, let's see. Look at her go. God, I love it when people are stupid. Yep, nice. All right, so I took it for a little test drive a little bit ago. Did that in second gear, blew the intake pipe off because I took it off to spray some starting fluid in, and I was trying to determine if it was the fuel pump or, you know, if it was just out of gas, because that's exactly what it was. We don't need to talk about that right now. But blew that off, put it back on, and then it wouldn't start for some reason, but then it started after a few cranks, and now it seems to be doing just fine. So what I was reading on AudiZine was somebody was talking about how they were struggling to get their fuel pump to prime in a B5, and somebody was like, hey, you know, check your pump, check these lines, blah blah blah. He's like, the car still runs even if it... What in God's name is that? Oh my God, is that an Infinity whatever? Yeah, it is. Wow, that is terrible. Anyway, saying the fuel pump wasn't priming, but it would still run, which is why I thought maybe, hey, it's out of gas. I'm stupid, I'll just put gas in it. Because the pump wasn't priming, but then I heard mine prime, which is another weird thing. I don't know what's going on with this car, guys, but I think I can boil it down to what somebody commented. They said, does your car have a turbo timer? Because there is a signal wire from the ignition switch that tells the ECU to prime the fuel pump, and they said the turbo timer can screw that up, and lo and behold, what does mine have? A Greddy turbo timer. So that could be the root of all of our issues here. All I know is 350 miles is where it's going to not run anymore because it doesn't have gas in it. So that's what we know. On a full tank, refilled it at 300 miles. Now we're at Kohl's. I'm going to return this hunk of garbage.
See